welcome to our deep dive. Today, based on the sources you shared, we're looking at something maybe you barely noticed, but it's definitely working in your brain.
Yeah.
The science behind slot machine sounds.
Yeah, it seems pretty simple on the surface, doesn't it? Just, background casino noise.
Right.
But think about that little jolt, maybe that rush you feel when you hear a win, like coins clattering, that feeling. It's not accidental.
Exactly. Why does that ching-ching or that big triumphant sound feel so good? Like little dopamine fireworks?
Mm-hmm.
What really jumped out from the material is that these noises, they aren't random at all.
That's the core of it, yeah. These sounds are incredibly strategic. The sources suggest, maybe even engineered with more precision than movie soundtracks.
Wow.
Think about it. Sound engineers, psychologists, all working together just on the sound design for these games.
It's kind of wild. So, okay, our mission here in this deep dive is to unpack how these sounds are designed really meticulously to keep you spinning the reels.
And what that tells us about the bigger picture of how attention is captured and held.
It's a fascinating mix, isn't it? Psychology and game design.
Absolutely. And one of the first things the material highlights is how deliberately tuned these sounds are.
Okay, let's get into that. Like the classic casino ding when you get a small win back.
Right.
The sources point out it's actually tuned to a specific frequency. It gives you that little rush, connecting back to like basic reward sound.
Exactly. It's pure positive reinforcement through audio. A conditioned response, really, designed to make you feel good instantly. It links the sound with reward, even if the money is, almost nothing.
But here's where it gets really interesting, based on what you said. The whole idea of losses disguised as wins.
Ah, yes, that's a big one. The classic example, right? You bet $1, maybe you win 20 cents back. So you've lost 80 cents.
Yeah.
But the machine, it throws a party. Flashing lights, uplifting music. The sources really emphasize that the sound does the heavy lifting there.
So even though you lost money, financially speaking, your brain hears that celebration and thinks, hey, I won, or something close to it.
Pretty much. The sound is deliberately there to kind of muddy the waters, to confuse your perception of winning versus losing, and crucially, keep you engaged, keep you playing.
And I guess this whole manipulation through sound gets even more important when you move away from the physical casino floor.
Definitely. Which brings us to the online world.
So without the physical machine, the flashing lights right there, sound and maybe animation, that is the experience.
It's huge. The material explains that in online slots, the music and the sound effects are absolutely crucial. Every spin, every near miss, every time you hit a bonus round, it has its own distinct score, all designed to build tension, stir up emotions,
The sources even compared some of them to movie scores, didn't they? Like building tempo, teasing a big win, then exploding with sound.
Yeah, it's not just gambling anymore. It's sort of theatrical gambling, and the soundtrack is driving a lot of that drama.
And there's actual research backing this up, like that University of Waterloo study mentioned in the material.
Yes, that study is quite revealing.
What was the key takeaway there? What really stood out?
Well, the big finding was that sound alone increased playing time.
Just the sound.
Just the sound. Players played longer when the sound was on compared to the exact same game visuals with the sound off. And interestingly, the sound also boosted their perception of success and how much control they felt they had.
Wow. So what you hear can be more persuasive than what you see in this context anyway. Well, it's fascinating and maybe a little unsettling too.
It really highlights how sound isn't just ambience. It's an active tool, maybe even a weapon in the business of attention, as one source described it.
Right.
And that comparison made in the material, likening slot games to pop music, I thought that was spot on.
How so?
Well, both are engineered to be catchy, right? To stick in your head. Maybe even become a bit addictive. Slot sounds are scientifically composed to maximize engagement, just like a hit song is engineered for maximum earworm potential in radio play.
So if we look back at everything we've unpacked from the material, those deliberately tuned dings, the misleading sounds for losses disguised as wins, the huge role of sound online, and the studies showing its power, it's clear this is incredibly sophisticated stuff.
It really is. It's a powerful reminder that, your ears are being targeted just as much as your eyes. The sounds are telling you a story about winning or losing or just staying hooked.
So maybe next time you hear that triumphant little tune after a spin, or even just navigating an app that uses lots of rewarding chimes, maybe pause and ask yourself that question posed in the sources. Is that sound really signaling success, or is it just a very well-produced illusion?
It really seems like the house always has a composer, and understanding that composition, well, that's key to understanding the whole game of attention being played all around us.
Definitely something to listen for out there.